Tonight, police investigating human remains found near Loch Lomond search for the dead man's missing neighbour. Graham Wright's neighbour has vanished from his home, police sources say, while the van he used was found burnt out. We'll bring you the latest, also on tonight's programme. School children are one step closer to a week of outdoor learning after the government allows legislation to move forward. We hear from Lulu on her secret struggle with alcohol and how she's learned to cope.
Coming up in tonight's sport, I'll have the latest from Serbia. Celtic kick off their Europa League campaign against Red Star Belgrade.
And what's in a name?
How are you today?
Not bad.
How's the weather?
Not bad.
The everyday phrase that has become a trademark battleground for two food outlets. Hello, I'm Laura Miller. This is Reporting Scotland. Just under a month ago, 38-year-old Graham Wright was reported missing from the Gorbals area of Glasgow. Then his remains were found at Loch Lomond, with police treating his death as unexplained. It's now emerged officers are searching for his missing neighbour, while a burnt-out van has also been found as part of the investigation. Our reporter Suzanne Allen has the story.
Graham Wright's remains were found near Loch Lomond on the 13th of September. How he died remains unexplained. BBC Scotland News understands that police are now searching for the dead man's missing neighbour.
It's quiet on the street here today, but police remain outside a flat in this block. The BBC understands police are searching for Graham Wright's missing neighbour. The man has vanished from his flat here in the Gorbals. Police sources say he hired a van, which has since been found burnt out.
It was here at Ruadoo near Firkin Point at Loch Lomond that a member of the public found the remains of Graham Wright. Police said their investigation involves specialist resources, the police dog unit, forensic teams and the dive and marine unit. He was reported missing on the 25th of August, with a possible sighting in the Gorbals on the 5th of September. Police received a report of human remains on the 13th and they were identified as Graham Wright's on the 17th. Today, according to sources, police are looking for his neighbour, who appears to have vanished.
We've been speaking to a number of people who knew Graham Wright, but none of them would talk on camera. One person I spoke to said he was born and brought up here in the Gorbals, that she'd been at primary school with him and that he was a well-known person in the area. She also told me that police have been searching a number of locations in the Gorbals.
Last week, police made an appeal.
A significant amount of resources have been dedicated to this investigation and searches of the area will continue. Please be reassured we are doing everything we can to get answers and there will be a large police presence in the area as these inquiries continue.
His death is officially unexplained, but we understand that the manner of the death indicates Graham Wright had been killed. Suzanne Allen, Reporting Scotland, Glasgow.
Now, did you go on a school residential? Well, a proposed new law aims to ensure every school pupil in Scotland gets a week of outdoor learning. But it looked like, despite being backed by Parliament, it might fail over cost concerns. Now, though, the Children's Minister says she accepts the will of Parliament and the plans can progress. Well, our political correspondent, Kirsten Campbell, joins us now. Kirsten, what was said on this today then?
Most people seem to agree that residential outdoor education where children take part in climbing trees and canoeing can be life-changing. But a week away doesn't come cheap. The government didn't want to write a blank cheque. The unions say there are other priorities, like more support for children with additional support needs. They say it would be akin to buying new carpets when the roof is falling in. But opposition MSPs had warned that it would be a democratic outrage if the government were to scupper this bill by refusing to fund it, and that row has now been resolved.
While the government accepts it is Parliament's will that this bill proceeds to stage 2 and is therefore bringing forward the necessary financial resolution, Parliament has a responsibility to ensure that this bill, should it become law, is fit for purpose, meaning it is affordable and, of course, that it is deliverable.
I think it's a good news day for the outdoor education sector, but I also think it's a very good day for MSPs right across the political spectrum who have worked so incredibly hard to ensure that we can persuade ministers why this bill is just so necessary in terms of building the resilience of our young people.
Right, Kirsten, so what happens next then?
Well, the bill will now go to committee for further scrutiny, essentially to lick it into shape, to make it more cost effective, to make it more targeted at those children who stand to benefit the most, and also to delay the implementation of it and to give outdoor learning centres more time to prepare. So there are going to have to be a lot of compromises on the scope of this bill if it's to become law.
OK, Kirsten Holyrood, thank you. And Kirsten and I actually had a bit more of a chat about outdoor education and school residentials on Scotcast, the Scottish News and Current Affairs podcast. You can get that on the BBC Scotland channel later, and it's available to listen to now on BBC Sounds. To some of the day's other stories now. And a bus driver has pleaded guilty to causing death by careless driving after he ran over and killed an elderly man. Amarjit Singh struck 65-year-old Scott Willis as he was crossing Great Western Road in Glasgow on the 27th of January 2024. The first bus employee failed to spot Mr Willis despite having a 700-metre view of the road in front of him. Singh was banned from driving and sentence was deferred pending background reports. The former St Mirren footballer Sean Rooney has been cleared of assaulting a teenage girl in a chip shop. The 29-year-old, who currently plays for English League Two side Fleetwood Town, was accused of attacking 18-year-old Sophia Bruce at the Blue Lagoon on Glasgow's Queen Street in September last year. Glasgow Sheriff Court heard there was reasonable doubt about what had happened. Staff at a hydroelectric power station built inside the highest mountain in Argyll and Bute are back on site after a reported explosion led to its evacuation. Emergency services were called to the Cruachan power station at Ben Cruachan on Tuesday evening. There were no reported injuries. The owner, Drax Power, said the alarm was raised after smoke was detected inside the cavern and that an internal investigation is underway. And Perth High School will reopen tomorrow after 3 days of work on power failures. Pupils were sent home from the new £80 million school on Monday after engineers were called to a reported outage. Perth and Kinross Council say the issue, which was related to a fault in the school's internal energy centre, has now been resolved. Now, she is one of our most famous exports with a career spanning decades. But at the age of 76, Lulu has opened up about her addiction to alcohol for the first time. Now, almost 12 years sober, she says she wants to share her personal struggle and try to help others. She also says her upbringing in Glasgow has helped her get through it. She's been speaking to the BBC's music correspondent, Mark Savage.
From winning the Eurovision Song Contest to duetting with Take That, Lulu has been famous since she was 15. But although her career stayed strong, she was struggling with alcoholism. It all came to a head in 2013.
What happened was that my sister and her family was sitting around a table in my house. I'd had my 63rd birthday, I think. I'd made lunch for a lot of people, talking about some guy and saying, oh, he's hanging on by his fingernails, meaning he had an issue with the alcohol. And I just came out of my mouth. I didn't think about it. Just came out of my mouth. I said, he's not the only one. And the table went silent. And my sister looked at me and she went, I know.
Other than her sister, nobody knew. Lulu even kept her drinking secret from her colleagues on Strictly Come Dancing.
I'd be working, I'd do my stuff, you know. I could fall on the bed asleep having been drunk, but the alarm would go, I'd be up, pull myself together, I'd go to work. I was what you call a highly functioning alcoholic.
When did you first realise that something was wrong?
I don't know if I could give you a date. My father was an alcoholic, And it's a family disease. Was obviously in my genes. To be very honest about my parents, they were chaotic and they would throw things and the noise was hellacious. That was difficult, but you know, I loved my parents even though. I loved them and I missed them. But I also hated their behaviour.
Looking back, she says that tough childhood in Glasgow gave her the courage to tackle her drinking problems.
Strength, yeah. I have tenacity. I have resilience, which I'm very grateful for, because no matter how many times I've fallen down, I bounce up again.
Sober for the last 12 years, Lulu says she's telling her story now in the hope others will seek help.
Mark Savage there speaking to Lulu. Now, there's been news of a major medical breakthrough today. Doctors say they've successfully treated Huntington's disease for the first time. It's an inherited condition affecting movement, thinking and mood, which gets worse over time and has no cure. But now, trials of a new gene therapy have shown that the disease has been slowed by 75% in patients. Well, the News at 7 have been speaking to Gillian McNabb, who inherited the gene from her mother.
I don't think it's quite sunk in yet. This is what I've been praying for every single day, and lots of Huntington's families have been praying for a long, long time.
And you can see that full story and the rest of that interview on the News at 7 over on the BBC Scotland channel shortly. Now, nae bad might seem like an everyday sort of phrase, but just who owns it has been at the centre of a dispute in the North East. A takeaway food shop in Aberdeen isn't allowed to use the expression in its name because another restaurant has the trademark for it. Ben Phillip takes up the story.
How are you today?
Not bad.
How's the weather?
Not bad.
It's a phrase used on a daily basis in this part of Scotland. Appropriate for many situations, it was incorporated into the name of a new takeaway in Aberdeen. Nae Bad Spud opened in June, but not long after, the owners were told by another business, Nae Bad Food in Elgin, that it owned the trademark for the words Nae Bad, specifically for food and drink services. Co-owners Angela and David say they followed the correct procedures to their knowledge when setting up their takeaway.
It's quite disheartening when you, as a business owner, want to invest money into something, to basically feel like you threw that money away and waste it because you've got to go and start from scratch again. Companies House should definitely not be selling any business names if it isn't basically available, if you can't use it.
Companies House said it doesn't have a role in regulating the use of trademarks. Nae Bad Spuds are now changing all branding, including signage and menus, at a cost of £5,000 to £6,000.
I'm not going to lie, money like that for a new business starting could financially crush a business, and it has been a struggle. And I mean, we are going to do our best to make the best out of a bad situation.
No one from Nae Bad Food was available for interview today, but in a statement the owner said they only wanted to protect their trademark and avoid confusion between the two businesses, adding they have acted amicably and given ample time to Nae Bad Spud to change their name.
You need to do a search of Companies House if you're wanting to register a company to make sure you're not copying somebody else's limited company name. And you need to do a separate search of the trademarks register to make sure that you're not in breach of somebody's trademark.
With an expanding menu, the Aberdeen takeaway have rebranded as Nae Just Spuds. Angela and David hope to raise awareness and educate other small businesses starting out to ensure this sort of thing doesn't happen to them. Ben Phillip, reporting Scotland, Aberdeen.
2 missing Scottish soldiers killed in the First World War will be buried in a ceremony in France tomorrow. And thanks to the work of specialist archaeologists and researchers, their families will be there at the graveside. Our reporter Cameron Buttle has more.
It's thought there are still 100,000 soldiers missing from the First World War alone. They're just names on memorials scattered across this part of northern France. Around here, they can find remains sometimes 2 or 3 times a week. And it can be possible, thanks to a dedicated team here in France and another back in the UK, that their names can be discovered. Tomorrow, 2 Scottish soldiers will be buried here at Lulu Cemetery, and we can tell the story about how they were found and how their families were traced.
And you can see that report from France tomorrow here on Reporting Scotland, and there will also be a documentary about it on iPlayer. OK, let's get tonight's sport now with Kenny. Big night for Celtic.
Yeah, big couple of nights. Celtic tonight, Rangers tomorrow in Europe, and Aberdeen get their Conference League campaign underway next week, but they've got plenty to think about at the moment, as we'll hear soon. Thanks, Laura. Good evening. It's an important night for Celtic as they get their Europa League campaign up and running in Serbia against Red Star Belgrade, who won the European Cup back in 1991. Our reporter Sheila McLaren is over there for us. Sheila, good to see you. Give us a sense of the excitement levels at the moment over there.
Yes, Kenny, it's getting pretty lively here, as you might imagine. Certainly feels like a huge night already. Red Star fans have been gathering here at the stadium since late afternoon, making plenty of noise, and they've been joined by around 1,500 Celtic fans who've travelled over. And if you think it's lively now, just wait until kick-off. Brendan Rodgers has urged his players to embrace the challenge and the atmosphere, and while he's wary of looking too far ahead, he does think they can do something in this competition. But Red Star will be feeling exactly the same, as I've been finding out. In a city of many sports, football reigns supreme. Like Celtic, Red Star Belgrade have a rich history in continental competition. But they're also, like Celtic, still hurting from their Champions League exit at the playoff stage. Both now turn their attention to Europe's secondary competition, and away fans who've made the journey are hoping their team can make an impact.
I think it's a better competition for us this year because I don't think we've done very well in the Champions League, but yeah, I think we've every chance of qualifying for the knockout rounds.
Obviously it's a bit of a step down, but we don't really spend the money anyway for the Champions League, so being in it makes no difference to us.
I think it's a good test. I feel like in the Champions League you're always just wanting to get out the league phase at that point, and maybe 1 or 2 knockout games like Bayern last year, but you've got a good chance to maybe go and win or semi-final, so hopefully we can go far in it.
The Celtic players face a daunting task before they even kick off, as they walk 70 metres through the Rajko Mitic tunnel from the dressing room into one of the most intimidating arenas in football.
What an amazing occasion to come and play in a real historical stadium and everything that goes with that. So, yeah, you go and meet the challenge, and whatever comes your way, you accept it and grow from it.
Red Star have lost just 5 league games in their past 5 seasons, and there's expectation that they can deliver once again on the European stage.
Fans were optimistic about the competition in Europa League because we can take more points and we can take some more wins than in Champions League, because the teams in Champions League are very stronger than us. So the fans are very optimistic, and we are thinking we can go to the knockout phase.
Belgrade is the first stop on Celtic's Europa League tour, which will take them to Herning in Denmark, Rotterdam and Bologna. Their fate won't be decided tonight, but a positive result could go some way to help ease the pain of their Champions League exit. Sheila McLaren, Reporting Scotland in Belgrade.
Well, some Celtic team news for you. Colby Donovan keeps his place at right back. Daisen Maeda comes back into the starting 11 at the expense of Kelechi Iheanacho. Full details on the BBC Sport Scotland website. Well, Rangers make their Europa League bow tomorrow when Belgian side Genk come to Glasgow. And after a tumultuous start to his Ibrox career, Russell Martin thinks his team are on the up, admitting fans have yet to see the best of some of their summer signings. Rangers came through 2 qualifying ties before exiting the Champions League at the playoff round, while their domestic form has been poor. They're second bottom of the Premiership with 4 points from 5 games, but they did beat Hibernian on Saturday to progress to the semi-finals of the League Cup.
There's been a lightness in the last 10, 12 days that I've really enjoyed to the players, and now we need to keep them there really, because they're capable of so much. They're capable of being, we can be a really top team, I believe. And we just have to. We've had a lot of change, and like I said, had to overcome a lot of stuff. And I think Saturday will help us, and it sets us up nicely for this one. But now the challenge is we have to follow that up, and we just have to be so demanding these guys and this team to keep our standards high and to put in a performance that we like and wins us the game again.
Elsewhere, Aberdeen manager Jimmy Talleen admits his side are at rock bottom following last night's 2-0 defeat away to Dundee United. The Tangerines moved up to third in the Premiership with their goals scored by Croatian forward Ivan Dolcek, his 5th of the season, and also Dutch defender Bert Esselink. The Dons only have 1 point from 5 league games and find themselves at the foot of the table. Talleen's men play Motherwell at Fir Park on Saturday evening.
I'm a strong believer this was rock bottom today. I think we can't go deeper right now. We are right now. Now is not the way. It's just to step up and don't have this tension when we play. I think we are a little bit too tense. As an individual, I know the players can do better, but we have to be more focused and trust our qualities when we play football.
Golf now, and with the Ryder Cup just a couple of days away, could it be that Robert McIntyre and his European teammates are trying to take the sting out of an intimidating New York crowd by staging a bit of a charm offensive during practice? The visitors, including Tommy Fleetwood here, seem to be endearing themselves to the natives by signing autographs and the like. But don't worry, there's been some proper prep going on too, with McIntyre's driving in good shape. Captain Luke Donald explained the friendly approach ahead of the serious action starting on Friday.
We're the visitors, I think, again, we're trying to just be respectful to the crowd and, just do whatever we can to be at our best selves and play our best golf. And, I think I'm very lucky as a captain. This isn't a team I've had to really try and form, but I feel like we have a bunch of really solid guys with good values, and they're out there to be entertaining. They're out there to play great golf, and they understand how important the fans are.
So, Laura, all a bit cosy and friendly at the moment, but I'm sure it'll come to life and the tension will start soon.
Indeed, it's all part of the fun of the Ryder Cup,
exactly,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Thanks, Kenny. OK, well, it is Wednesday night and Debate Night is back on the BBC Scotland channel. Here is Stephen with the details.
We're back. Debate night is in Edinburgh this evening. Our studio audience here will put their questions to Dave Duggan from the SNP, the Deputy Leader of Scottish Labour, Jackie Bailey, Miles Briggs from the Scottish Conservatives, the CEO of Edinburgh Science, Hassan Al-Zafar, and market analyst Anna MacDonald as well. Join me for Debate night on the BBC Scotland channel at 9. We've got a lot to talk about, or you can catch it later, 10:40 on BBC One Scotland.
Well, now, Christine is here with the weather, and I cannot believe we're almost in October. I've been enjoying the last days of September, though. It's been lovely.
Yeah, it's been lovely, hasn't it? We've got high pressure in charge of our weather. A blip over the weekend looks likely, and then we're maybe into high pressure again next week. So more settled conditions, Laura. Yes, not bad at all. Thank you. Good evening to you. Yes, it's been another decent day of weather for many of us. The best of the sunshine, though, has been across northern Scotland. This evening, some late sunshine to be had as the cloud melts away. Clear skies for most overnight. Some patchy mist and fog forming, and thicker cloud at times around western coasts. Through the Western Isles, perhaps the odd spot of rain. Quite a fresh breeze here and across the Northern Isles. Central and eastern areas will be chilly, perhaps a touch of frost in some sheltered rural areas. So a nip in the air certainly tomorrow morning, especially across central and eastern areas. Mist and fog, though, will fade during the morning to leave another dry day with plenty of brightness and sunshine around. Just patchy fair weather cloud developing during the day. And temperature-wise, I think we'll be up again on today's values, 15 to 18 Celsius quite widely. For parts of Easter Ross, the Inverness area and along the Murray coast, 19 Celsius here. Still that fresh breeze along the west coast and for the Western and Northern Isles. Tomorrow evening and night, again, it's looking dry with clear skies, light winds for many, and some mist and fog patches, but a fresh breeze for the west coast. And Friday, we still have high pressure anchored to the east, low pressure to the northwest, and tightly packed isobars. So quite a windy day in prospect on Friday, particularly around the west and northwest coast, the Western and Northern Isles. Strong to gale force gusts here, but again, dry weather, and that southerly wind ushering in some areas of cloud through southern, central and eastern areas, but still some sunshine to be had. The question mark comes over Friday night into Saturday regarding this frontal system, which is set to make inroads from the west. On current thinking, it's going to push its way eastwards on Saturday, running into higher pressure though, so becoming more of a fragmented, broken feature with brighter skies moving into the west and feeling a little cooler too. That's the forecast. Back to you, Laura.
Thank you, Kirsty. Now tonight's main news again. Police investigating human remains found near Loch Lomond are searching for the dead man's missing neighbour. Police sources say Graham Wright's neighbour has vanished from his home while the van he used was found burnt out. And a proposed new law aiming to ensure every school pupil in Scotland gets a week of outdoor learning can progress through Parliament after concerns it could fail over costs. And that is Reporting Scotland. The late news is at 10:30. Join us then if you can. In the meantime, from all of us here, enjoy your evening. Good night.